Hi there, Chris here for Forte TV. The world of theatre is made up of some really creative people, from writers to directors to costume designers to set builders. But it's not often a show comes along where you can sit back in awe of the people that are not only behind the scenes, but also a person that plays more than 30 characters on stage during the performance. The person I talk of is Ronnie Burkett, Canadian puppeteer and master of marionettes. Ronnie Burkett's in Geelong opening Penny Plain. It's on in Geelong for the rest of this week till Saturday night, and then it goes to Melbourne at the Arts Centre. Today I got a chance to catch up with Ronnie Burkett just before opening night.
Well, there it is then. Biscuit.
Thank you. No. There's what then?
The end of the world. Or of man. Oh, there's one jam centre left and a chocolate finger.
Really? How can you tell?
Oh, the smell, of course.
Really? You can smell man's end? I thought only dogs did that.
Oh, Geoffrey, don't be provocative. The biscuits, Geoffrey, the biscuits.
Firstly, welcome back to Australia, Ronnie. It's been a few years now since you were here in Australia with Billy Twinkle. Tell us a bit about Penny Plain.
Penny Plain is sort of a end-of-the-world fantasy, a what-if last 3 days of civilization set in the rooming house of a blind woman named Penny Plain.
The biscuits, Geoffrey, the biscuits. Jellied raspberries tucked between vanilla wafers and chocolate. Well, oh, there's no mistaking it. Oh, you're sure?
Quite. And you?
Oh, absolutely. I've had enough of the world of the biscuits, Geoffrey. Oh, just as well. I suspect we should be prudent and retrench a bit now.
Well, a bit late for that.
Still, I'm glad I stocked up.
On biscuits?
Yes.
Forgive me, Miss Plain, but isn't that a bit silly?
Oh, no, not at all. They don't need refrigeration, nor cooking. Our utilities are bound to cease any day now, and frankly, while the outside world unwinds itself from the spool of order, there's nothing more civilized than a lovely biscuit.
Where do you draw inspiration for not only the stories, but also the characters that you create for the show?
Well, the story is, one of those sort of global, everyone's got it on their mind, when's stuff going to run out stories? Is it end of oil? Is it this massive virus that happens? Is it a collapse of the banking system? So there's all those big global thoughts that we're all having rolled into this catastrophe that's happening to mankind. But the actual story is a really human story. It's about how people react in desperate times. And some people react nobly and at their very best, and some don't act as well. So the characters are just normal little characters striving to get by. I see them on public transit, I see them on the street when I'm walking around. We do have some fantastic characters in this, though, because we have talking dogs as well. So it's a kind of shift of the natural order where dogs are acting more human than humans in a weird way.
Or in my case, domesticated.
I think you're twisting my words, Geoffrey.
I think we have different views, Miss Plain, that's all. Now, in your version, I've become civilized in your eyes simply because I've had to be your eyes. Now, if you had been in the position to view my world for me, well, the interpretation of civilized behavior would be radically different.
Oh, we're not so very different, Geoffrey.
Yet, when we meet, Miss Plain, we do not greet one another with our nose in the other's bottom, do we?
Oh, Geoffrey, if you're striving to pique my outrage with such scandalous talk, I can assure you, sir, I will not play.
I'm not outrageous, Miss Plain. I'm a dog. And if another dog were to enter the room, it would not be foreign to my nature to sniff his sphincter in salutation.
Your base nature, Geoffrey. But you've risen above it because you're civilized. I've taught you how to shake a paw.
I shake a paw, Miss Plain, for the promise of reward. Not as a hail and hello. No, it's a circus trick of domestication, not civilized behavior. No, my natural urge is still and always to thrust my snout right into a ripe...
Enough, Geoffrey, I get it. Really? Please. You're not the only one with base urges, you know.
Billy Twinkle had some really interesting technical challenges for you, and I was lucky enough to see the show. And one of the bits that I do remember was the striptease. Mm-hmm. What have you sort of set yourself for this project?
For this project, I got myself more out of the way than I've ever been. I realized during Billy Twinkle and other shows I was down on the level of the puppets, and certainly in Billy I was a major character. I was Billy. And I was interested to see how far away I could get from the marionettes and let them carry the story. So the strings are 100 inches long. So the biggest technical challenge is that I'm further removed and still animating everything and doing acoustic voicing for them and putting the focus completely down on these little actors and their story.
The show is on now in Geelong for the rest of this week, and then you're off to Melbourne. What's next for Ronnie after that?
Well, we've just premiered a new show in June prior to coming here called the Daisy Theatre, which is completely different from what I've been doing for the last few years. And it's a nightly improvised show. So I have a cast of stock characters and I make up a show on the spot every night. There's musical numbers, there's audience participation. It can be really political, it can be really tender, it can be filthy body humor. So it's just a different switch to try something fun and ridiculous from all this doom and gloom that I've been doing the past few years.
Fantastic. We look forward to seeing that in Australia, hopefully in the next year or two.
That'd be great. I'd love to bring it here. Thanks.
Really? You, Miss Plain?
And why not? I'm alive. I'm a woman. Just because I'm old and blind, it doesn't mean I'm not without a purine fancy by times. Aha! Oh, you are the most ridiculous creature, Geoffrey. Aha!